the momentum she's gathered over time. And of course, every other thing she's doing as a woman to support the community, the Black community here in Canada. And that's very important because as Black people, sometimes people don't understand the nuances of owning a home to yourself and how to go about it. So Deborah is your go-to person if you have families here in Canada who want to buy a home or they are confused, they don't know what to do, they need clarity. She is your plug. And believe me, it is not just because I know this woman, it is because she's been tested and trusted. And you know that I don't joke with my integrity. So this is a woman who does not joke with her own integrity. You need to speak with Deborah. To know that she would tell you firsthand, sis, as long as my integrity is not going
That's
to...
right. Because after that, if we don't have integrity, what else do we have, right? And
I know.
Yeah, you know, so.
I know. So let me also, speaking of integrity, let me also add, because I know this thing about people saying, oh, audio giveaway. There is no audio about this, okay? So for the support she wants to give, it is CSR. So it is not giveaway because someone wants to throw money around. It's corporate social responsibility as an organization to say, we've done well this year. We want to appreciate people who perhaps don't have a home and they need a home, right? So this is just somebody trying to do something out of a passion for humanity. And I want to beg everyone who wants to apply for this, soft grant or funding, no sense of entitlement. Please, I am pleading with you. No sense of entitlement. We are going to pick according to, as the Spirit leads. And don't send me an inbox message. Don't send Deborah any inbox, please, regarding this.
Yes.
Please don't go on my Facebook page. Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. Comment on the post on Instagram. Go on Facebook. You see something, this thing about blessing is this. If you don't reach you today, go reach you tomorrow. Right? So it's likely that, after the 5 people, you don't even know who is actually scrolling through my Facebook. They might pick you as well. Someone might be touched to say, oh, I read your story and I want to give back. So please drop your comment with zero sense of entitlement. Just drop it with faith. Good. Thank you very much. Don't mind me. I had to do this. They're my people. I know the terrain. So my first question to you today is, what inspired your passion to go into real estate? I mean, you could have gone into any other sector, considering that we live in a multicultural, multi-opportunity society here in Canada. What inspired you to go into the real estate sector?
Okay, so I would like to start from the very beginning. That's just how I want to start. So when I came to Canada many years ago, almost 20 years now, to be honest, I came here with my dad, my mom. So we started from nothing. My parents immigrated, they brought me here. We were living in an apartment building. And at that time, it was very difficult for immigrants, for people of color. I'm sure you even experienced it till today. It's very difficult for us to get an accommodation in a very nice community. So it was difficult for us then. But then also, I sat down one day and I said, hey, these people, not only did we beg them to pay them money to stay in their apartments, they are making profits from us, and we're still begging them to do that. And one day I want to own these big apartments. It's probably 12 floors, and it's probably 12 apartments on each floor. And I said, one day I want to be able to own this building so that I can support people that are just, that are not well catered to us. So that's how I started. And then years after, I decided, okay, I'm going to start buying my own real estate, at least buy one apartment at a time. And it was difficult. There was no information. People would tell you, oh yeah, don't give your credits, because if you give your credits, they're gonna spoil it. Don't buy anything. You have to put money back home. All of those things. I went to my professor. How do you buy a house? How do you become financially independent in Canada? There was nothing like that. It was just more like, go to school, get a job, pay your bills, and that just didn't sit well with me. That wasn't what I wanted to do. So I decided to go head on. So I did a lot of research, spoke to other people, and most people, of course, even till now, I'm only a person in the room that is like me. And I said, listen, I want to be able to bring this information to my people, because having a home is not only a necessity. It would give you financial freedom. It will make you feel settled, right? Immigrants are coming here to Canada. How do you feel settled if you don't have a house? If you're moving every single day because your landlord needs to sell their property, right? You won't feel settled. So I decided I'm gonna tell people, hey guys, it's easy. These are the things that you need. Let's all come together. Let's start to build the financial wealth. Because a lot of people came here not only for security but financial wealth. And real estate has been one of the major things that I have seen that you can build that for yourself. So
Amazing.
that's how that's how. So as you know, I'm very, very passionate about this because when you're doing something and you're doing it for other people, I was a teacher before, but I didn't find fulfillment. You think because I'm a mom, I find fulfillment. People judge me because of that. But honestly, I teach my kids, I come home, it drains me because I didn't find as much fulfillment. I came into real estate and my lights, my eyes just lit up every time I want to talk about real estate. So it's that's what inspires me. That's what makes me wake up in the morning, and that's why I go into it full time.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that. I was going to come to the teacher part to ask you, because a couple of people will be wondering, what was she doing before she became this big real estate madam? So can you just because we love to hear those real aspire success story. Just give us a hint about your background leading to when you became a real estate agent.
Okay. So my background, it started from a long time. Ever since I come to this country, I started working. I was probably how old, maybe 16, 15 years when I came. I was working, but that led me eventually, after I got married, I became a teacher. And it wasn't, like I said, it wasn't just something that was fulfilling. Even though I was teaching high school students, I didn't love it that much because kids over here don't want to learn, right? It's not like Nigeria. They just want to sit there. So you don't feel like you're necessarily impacting them. And by the time they get to me at high school, grade 12, they're already formed. You can't do so much. And then they are going out the next year. So it didn't feel like I was really impacting their life. And I was just frustrated about it. And again, it's our people that, have been brainwashed and different things that happen to them. And they're broken by the time they get to you. So I thought, okay, what sector can I really influence? And yeah, so I was, my mother-in-law came one summer and I said, listen, mom, my husband, every time he comes home, I'll say, hey, babe, do you know they sold the house $200,000 more? Do you know they sold our neighbor sold $300,000 more? And he said, listen, if you like it so much, why don't you just go into it, right? Up until now, I've been saying I wanted to change my career, but I don't know what to change into because I read human resources management and then I jumped to become a teacher. So I'm still saying I still don't have fulfillment in this field. How can I change? So he said, if you like it so much, why don't you just go into it? So I said, okay, no problem. At that time, we already started buying our own real estate. So we already have investments. I know how much it's generating. So we said, okay. So I went to see. So my mother-in-law came. I was still teaching. I wrote my exams within a couple of months, maybe 4 months or 3 months, finished all my exams, and I just switched. I just gave my boss, I said, I'm going on a leave of absence for a really long time. I gave them notice, and I said, and I never looked back from there.
Amazing. And there's one part of what you said that I'm going to try and, just flesh out a little bit. And that is the support you had from your husband when it was just a vision, but you didn't have clarity about the vision, which is very, very important. And for those who are listening, men who are listening, I hope you will tap into that. So when Madam start telling you, this is my passion, I love makeup. Oh my God, look at these people, the way they are making up. Look, just try. That might be the passion that would actually ignite a fire. And, these things are very important when we talk about business, when we talk about career growth. It's also very important to talk about the home, how balanced a woman is in the home and the support she's getting. So thank you so much for sharing that, sis. And I want to ask you, what does it take to own a home in Canada? What does it take?
Okay, so you need 3 things when you're buying a house in Canada. First of all, I want to say, in most cases, when people are buying houses in Canada, they are not paying cash, right? Canada is a credit system. It's not a cash system. So that's one of the things that people don't understand coming here, that, they're talking about credit. You need to build your credit. They don't understand it. So you need 3 things when you're buying a house. First of all, you need a good credit. A good credit is 650 points and above. So if you're an immigrant and you're coming in or you're already in, the first thing you should be doing once you settle down and get your health card is to go to the bank and open some kind of credits, right? So they will give you maybe a credit card of $1,000. Use it to buy gas. So as you're paying and you're giving back the money, you are taking the money, you're giving it back every month. The cycle is 30 days. So if you spend $500, you need to pay it within 30 days and no interest. If you don't pay it after 30 days, they'll charge you interest. So they want to see consistency that you've been very faithful, you've been returning money and all of that. That's how you build your credits. So build your credit 650 points and above. They have their credit point system of how they award your credits. You can get up to 900, but 650 is the lowest you should have to be able to buy a house and get a good credit. Okay. The second thing is you need to have a job or a business. So I have to include myself. You have to have a job or a business. A lot of my clients are they are employees. So if the way the bank looks at it is how much can you afford. So for them to determine your affordability, they would look at 4 times or 5 times of your income. That's the max mortgage that you can get. So if you're making $200,000, you can borrow up to $800 to $1 million, right? That's how they look at it. That's how they look at your affordability. The third thing is your down payments. You need to be able to have 5% to 20% to whatever percentage you want, really. But the minimum payments that the Canada banks is asking you as a commitment from you that you're not gonna run away, all of that is 5%. So 5% of the purchase price. So if you're buying a house of 500,000, which is non-existent in this days, but let's just pick that number. You need $25,000. You need closing costs of another $10,000. So you need about $35,000 to buy a house of $500,000. So that's how it works. Now, then I want to answer this question because a lot of people come to my inboxes and ask me, Deborah, I'm from Nigeria. I want to buy a house right now. You need to be a Canadian resident to buy a house in most cases, okay? Because right now there's a lot of bidding war, there's a lot of things that are going on within our system. Houses has appreciated about 20, 30, 40% in the last 2-3 years. So the government is trying to slow it down because Canadians themselves, they cannot afford, an average Canadian cannot afford a house. So in order to slow down that system, they are blocking international buyers from buying when Canadians themselves cannot afford it. So they have imposed a 15% foreign taxes right now is what they call it, foreign taxes. So if you're a foreigner and you want to buy a house of $1 million, you're paying 15% of that. That's $150,000, right? Plus, as a non-resident, you may not be qualified for a lot of loans that a resident will be able to qualify for. So in most cases, there's a lot of difficulty along the way, but a Canadian definitely has more advantage in buying. Partnering with a Canadian also have a lot of advantage as well.
Amazing. That's beautiful. And let me quickly ask, speaking of credit score and houses and the prices of the houses right now, what is the average cost of a house right now in Canada? I'm talking Toronto, Brampton, Mississauga, these top places. What is the cost? Because you said something about 500,000.
Yeah.
So please let us know, what is the cost right now of owning a home in Canada?
So an average price of a house right now is ranging from 800,000 to about $1 million. That's the average that we're offering over right now. A lot of immigrants, especially your audience from Nigeria, they want shiny houses. They want the real thing. They want the kind of houses they have in Lekki and all of that. So I would say those kind of houses, you should have about $1.2 to $2 million if that's what you're looking for. So if you're looking for those, and it wouldn't even be like Lekki style. Lekki style, I haven't been to Lekki before, but my clients have told me they are luxury houses. Those houses, I would even say they are like 2 million and above. But the average house that I think your audience will like, it will be between 1.2 to 2 million. If you want the proper thing, we were talking about 2 million and above.
Wow. Amazing. Thank you. That's a very, very vital part of this of this conversation. Thank you so much for sharing that. And, the next question, as a realtor yourself, being an agent, also being, the face of the community in terms of housing and, people buying homes. What are some of the challenges you faced in this business? Yes. What are some of the challenges, and how, were you able to navigate, or how are you able to navigate them? Because of course you're still in the business.
That's a good question. Thank you for that question. So there's a lot of challenges, especially for a mother, right? A lot of people look at me. My identity first is, as a child of God, and then you are a wife, you are a mother. So there's a lot of challenges as it is for every other woman in other careers. Especially in our business, we have late nights, we have long hours, we have odd hours, right? So I always make a joke and say, hey, right now I don't do that anymore. But when I started, people will call you at 9 a.m., 10 p.m. Sometimes you're still on the road showing properties to your clients. So, and of course, you also have mothers. So that creates a lot of family pressure. So if you don't have an understanding husband, right? If you don't have understanding children, that will be very, very difficult. And a lot of colleagues also look down on you. So when I started, funny story, my boss' son, we are the same age, and that guy said, oh yeah, Deborah, so and there's also no mentoring, because there's no people like you that want to tell you how do you do it, what courses do you take. So there's no mentoring, there's nothing. You don't know how these things are run. We don't even understand what credits is, because we are coming from Nigeria. Okay, so this guy said, oh, he was going to mentor me, and I was very grateful for that. But then he said, oh, Deborah, you need to start at 8 a.m. Report to my office 8 a.m. every morning, and you work from 8 to 6, because do you want to be successful? I said, yes, sir, I want to be successful. Yeah, this is what it's going to take. I said, okay, I'm going to try, but I have kids. No, you can't talk about your kids. You can't talk about your kids. Do you want to be successful? Yes, he said, go do it. Meanwhile, this guy is a guy, he has a wife that is a full-time housewife. He probably doesn't even know how to bathe or shower his child. Okay, so I can't compare myself. So I tried to do it for a week. And then I said, oh God, sorry, I cannot do this. Okay, I have kids at home. My kids over here, kids go to my kids' boss schedule starts from 8 a.m. to about 8:30. So there's no way I can be in the office at 8 a.m. because I have to be here. Over here too, we don't have help like Nigerians, right?
Yes.
We don't have help. So you are the one that is doing most of those things. So I said, listen, I can't do it. And then he thought maybe I wasn't serious. I wasn't gonna make it because I didn't want to sacrifice what it takes. And I said, okay, I can work in the comfort of my office, in my home. And I will get a job done. It's called flexible hours, flexibility and all of that. And able to prepare me with give me that. So I just decided I threw myself in, study as much as I can, talk to different people that were ready to talk to me. Also in that culture, it was just me. So every time, they have they're not even speaking in English, which I really do admire. I admire when they're not speaking in English, because I feel like they really understand their culture and they love it so much. But the thing is, I'm not included in that. So which means if I don't speak the language, I can't negotiate with fellow agents, because they are speaking when they see themselves, they're talking. So there's all of these biases. But as we are bringing more of ourselves into this space, first of all, we more, everybody, hopefully, all agents can educate their family about the importance of real estate, the power of real estate. Number two is I can negotiate with other people across. They can learn more about us, because there's more of us that now you can't ignore the power of numbers, right? So that's something that I have focused on, and bringing as much people and just teaching them and saying, hey guys, you can do it. If I can do it, you can do it as well. If I have 4 kids and I am still a boss woman, when I go out, we don't talk about kids. When we are home, we are doing kids, and you wear all this hats. If I can do it, other people can do it as well. So those are some of the challenges and it's still there till now, right? For you just kind of manage it.
Oh, fantastic. Motherhood. And that's like, one of the hardest things to explain rather in a work setting. Because like I always tell people, you are paid to give results, not to make excuses. So, and that's the law. Like, yes, we want the world to be empathetic and kind, to mothers, but the truth is the work has to be done. And the way the world is right now, people necessarily are ready to just give that same job to another person. It's okay, you know what? You go sit home and take care of your children. Let someone else who don't have kids, do the job. But we hope that we don't find ourselves in settings like that, because there's also beauty in humanity at the workplace. Meaning sometimes give people grace. As long as they can do the job right, as long as they can deliver results, give them grace. So thank you for sharing that challenge and the way you are able to navigate it. So moving on, how would you compare the real estate in Nigeria to Canada? You mentioned Lekki, and I
always mention Lekki because a lot of my clients just say Lekki. I'm like, I'm
how would you compare, the real estate? I'm sure you've read a whole lot about Lekki. You've heard about Banana Island, VGC, like these estates keep popping up in Lagos. There are some that I don't even know about that I'm just hearing of recently. It's easier for Nigerians to buy homes, like you said, unlike here. So how would you compare that in terms of regulation in, the real estate sector, and how, that looks for Nigerians who come here? And how, because the old culture shock, like you said, a Nigerian comes in and they say, I want to buy a house right now because I have the money, but it's not built your credit, right? No. So how would you compare both sides of the divide?
I'm here in Nigeria right now. They are actually having some form of credits through some of their credit institutions and all. But it's a lot different. So over here, it's faster for us to be able to build our real estate portfolio because you're leveraging. So in Nigeria, for example, if I wanted to buy a house, I probably need to put 100% down. But over here, I can spread that same 100% over 5 houses. As an investor, you only have to put 20% down, right? Of course, you still have to have a good job. So the first thing is you need to have a high-paying job. I tell all my clients, if you are making $100,000 in Canada right now, you're poor, right? That's the reality, because for you to be able to buy the average house, you need to have $150,000 to $200,000 and above. But once you have that, now you're doing your having some savings on the side, so you have 20% and you're just buying house. So you can buy 2 houses, 3 houses, 4 houses, 5 houses in a year. So that's the major difference, is we have the power of leverage. In terms of regulations, people come and say, they DM me, I have $1 million, can I transfer it to you? I want to buy a house. I can't take your money cash, okay? As an agent, I don't even see money. I don't even touch it. All I'm doing is negotiating, finding you the best deals, advising you, guiding you through the house process, right? I don't take money. So there's a lot of regulations because we have anti-money laundry, whatever that is going on in Canada right now. So as a result of that, there are things that we can't do. You can't bring money into the system and just go to seller and bring them a bag of cash. I want to buy a house. It doesn't work like that. So you have to go through the proper channels, which is the bank. And if you are bringing money in that they can't verify, they're gonna tag your accounts, right? They're gonna flag your accounts. So you need to make sure that your money is clean, your money is entered through the proper channels. It needs to be able to go from the bank, and the bank has to be able to verify it. There's been a lot of people that has been in problem by changing naira, buying dollar, all of those things. They want your money to come from the Nigerian bank, come into the Canadian system, and you leave it there, not buy dollar from Funke today, buying another dollar from Chidima tomorrow. No, it has to stay there. So there's a lot of regulations that are guiding us, and it's for us, right? Because they don't want money laundering, right? It's anti-laundering system. So those are some of the things that is different from Nigeria over here. Over here as well, dollar is pretty stable, right? Few people that have approached me that they wanted to buy a house, and I asked, why will you buy a house? Because houses go in my early careers, houses appreciate very fast in Nigeria. The reason they give me is because they want stability of their funds, right? So after you go through capital growth, now you want capital preservation. You're preserving money to make sure that it's not falling as fast as Naira is falling these days. So that's also the main benefit of investing over here. That's one of the main difference between Nigerian system and Canadian system.
Thank you. Someone said Nigeria would have dropped money sharp. No lies. No lies,
You
like,
can't
you know,
imagine. I was talking to my client yesterday. She said, "Oh yeah." I said, "How much is dollar?" And she said 580. I'm like, "What?" The last time I asked it was 500,000, $500 to a dollar, 500 naira to a dollar. So it's ridiculous, right? So that's one of the major, hiccup in the Nigeria system that I find.
it's even higher than that. USD today is about 800 to a dollar. Yes. So Canadian dollar should shoot up by, yeah, I'm sure it's about 600 now. And that's the situation we found ourselves. So, I mean, it is what it is. Yes. Moving on. Debbie, what were or who were some of the women, were the women in the industry that you looked up to before you came into this real estate industry? I know you said it's more for you, it's more like walking into the room and not finding anybody who looks like you, right? But were there other women, even women of different colors, who you just admire from a distance? Yeah.
In the industry, unfortunately, no. That's the honest truth. Because people wanted you to prove yourself. And
Mm,
also wanted to the people that I wanted to that I would say are role models, or that I wanted to be like them. There were people like that, but just when you talk to them, or when you have conversations with them, they don't want to talk to you. They don't want. I There was a lot of humiliation at the beginning, and so all the women that later we became friends, and they now is because now of the talent and the place where God has placed you is kind of how it works. And this industry, to be fair, is men dominated because we work all
mm,
the hours, right? So you would
mm,
find more men than women. So if you ask me about men that I looked up to, them, I can count, but
mhm,
women, there was just there was nobody, right? And at that time too, women were struggling too. When I
mhm,
started, there was a lot of struggle. So I wouldn't say, but in other spheres, in other countries, yes, there are
mhm,
other people from other countries that in my same field that were, in the US and all of that, that
mhm.
I look up to, and they are doing really, really well. That own their own firm. So yeah.
Yeah, amazing. What about in Nigeria? Is there anybody in the real estate sector that you just love the way they champion their own cause, the way they put themselves out there, the work that they do?
Um, I'm not very familiar with Nigeria, to be honest, so I wouldn't say I know. I know recently I looked on your page, I saw Mr. Stephen Akintaya. That's the only person that I know. There was, yeah, I don't follow because I haven't been to Nigeria in so long, so I'm not following as much. But
Mhm.
yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of them out there.
Out there, amazing. So how, as a woman, a Black woman in a multicultural setting, how are you using your position right now as a realtor, a real estate agent to create room for other women? Because we want to see a lot of people who look like Deborah in the sector on the long run, right?
Yes.
Women who can stand on their own and say, I am bigger than my color. My color won't limit me. So are you doing that at the moment? Just trying to create room for other women to come into the sector.
Yes. So for Deborah Holmes, what we do is I have mentees that I mentor.
Mm,
Not on social media or anything. We don't have a formal program for that because we're very busy and all of that. But
mhm,
in a year, at least we mentor like 5 women that wants to become a real estate agent. Some of them have become a real estate agent and they're doing well. Both men and
mhm,
women, to be honest, because again, if we don't create more room and more space, there are spaces that I wouldn't be able to get to, maybe by location, by different things, but my mentee might be able to get there. So again, if
mhm,
we are in bridges, eventually you can also get benefits of those bridges. So there are women like that that we're mentoring. More importantly, there are other also people in terms of real estate investment and portfolio building, right? So there are a lot of families that we've been able to help the women to understand even financial literacy, and for them to understand the power of real estate and how to start building their own portfolio. So some of them, as from maybe 2 properties, they have 10 properties, they have 20 properties. And because again, I don't expect everybody to quit their job and join to be a real estate agent. Not everybody has that passion.
mhm,
But if you make money from your different businesses that are, fulfilling you and all of that, then you can put that money in something that is more real and that you can actually use, which is real estate. So I do that also a lot. The other thing is we do financial literacy for kids as well. So just understanding things, right? Understanding, real estate, understanding little things about, one day I'm going to have a house. What are the importance of a house? How does having a house connect back to, you as a person, as Christians, God created land and this land is in short supply. So if I have some part of it right now, over time it would grow, it would appreciate. So helping kids to understand and start to process those things and have some kind of mindsets to, okay, having a house and I should buy it at the earliest time possible. So I've had kids that bought a house when they are 22, 23, and a couple of them own couple as well. So that's how we are trying to create space for other Black people, other, racialized communities to have, access to real estate.
Amazing. I want to take this question very quickly. I'm sure you can also see it. Somebody who just migrated to Canada 2 to 3 years. She lives in Toronto, the GTA. She's saying that, like you rightly said, with a 100K job, what is the hope for, people like that to become homeowners in Canada?
Okay. So people like that, I would suggest they buy houses a little bit outside of GT, wherever they can afford really. So when you partner or when you're working with a real estate agent, they're gonna help you to understand, within your work area. So an hour from work or 2 hours from work, wherever it is that you can afford, buy something right there. If it's a condo, if it's a small house, just buy something. The other thing that I tell people is, listen, your first house doesn't necessarily have to be the shiny, lecky houses that people are, looking for. Because the thing is, it's time in the markets right now. It's not time on the markets. So you're not saying, my first house wasn't what I'm living in right now. And this is definitely not my last house. I said, but it's a journey. You start from somewhere, from what you can afford. If it's, 1 bedroom, and then if it's 2 bedroom, if it's a small house, if it's an older property, if it's a distance, we also have properties outside of the GTA. Even for me and my husband, when we started, we felt, okay, this is where you can buy houses that are a little bit cheaper. So you just look for opportunities to get in, just get your feet in. That is my best advice for you. Look for a real estate agent that understands the process and is very truthful, because we are commission based, right? So a lot of people, you find them just talking about their own past. They're giving you advice based on what can benefit them. Look for someone that is genuinely interested in helping you to build your portfolio, and then start from there.
Thank you so much. That's very powerful. Speaking of portfolio, I was just coming to that. You keep shooting this question for me. I wanted to ask you, what is the process? So when I want to buy a house, I come to Deborah. What is the process from consultation, to taking them to city homes? What does it look like in terms of the services that you provide to your clients?
Awesome. So free consultation for people that are serious and ready to buy is free. So there's free consultation with for Deborah or any member of my team. It's only 15 minutes. So come with your questions. I give all nuggets of information on YouTube everywhere, so people already kind of know what they're looking for, but they just need specifics as to connecting with a mortgage broker. So we do that as well. Who is the right mortgage broker for you? Should we be working with a bank? Should we be working with a lender? So I'm asking you all these questions. What are your needs? We are specifying to understand this is your needs and this is your wants. So I like to clarify, because I don't like to waste people's time and I don't like my time being wasted. So I'll clarify, hey, you want a $1 million house, but really you can only afford $800,000. So let's get you on buying the $800,000 home. People also believe that Nigerians, I find, and not just Nigerians, many people, we like to count our profits. We like to ignore risk and costs. So yes, you can make $200,000, but this is what it's gonna cost you. I am a real estate agent and an investor, but it's costing me my time. It's costing me a lot of things, right? At the beginning, I decided to sacrifice a lot of things, right? We deferred some enjoyment to be able to start early and quickly as fast as possible. So those are the things that I'm going to tell you in your consultation. So once you buy it, once you Once we agree as action points, then we connect with a mortgage broker that we're working with that is trusted. Because again, you don't want any other person running your credits. Sometimes people make mistake. Maybe that's their first day that's their bad day on the job, and they just do whatever. So we connect you with a mortgage broker that is trusted, that when we are working with someone that is knowledgeable to build portfolio, if that's what you want to do, or if you just want to buy a first house, someone that is very experienced in treating first-time buyers, because you guys will have a lot of questions. So we move from there, and then once you have a pre-approval, they're going to ask you for a lot of documentation. You send it to them. Then we start shopping. We start looking on the market to find a house. Once you find a house, we then help you to negotiate on the house, guide you on whether the house is still right. For me, I will make sure I tell you the truth. That's the thing, because my faith is more important to me than anything else. And I tell people, if I create problem for you, Esther, tomorrow if you ask the world, come on, to sell the house, and then I don't think you can get more than $5 million for that house. And you bought a house for $5 million. 10 years later, I'm still studying you $5 million. I'm not going to be able to sleep personally. So I try to make sure, because if I create problem for my clients today, they are coming back to me tomorrow to sell that same house, and I don't want to be telling them stories. So I tell you, hey, this is the house you want. Are you sure this house only has one bathroom, and you are a family of 6? Is this one bathroom going to be enough for you guys, right? So we ask those questions. Once you buy the house, negotiate, we write the contracts, we then pass it to a lawyer. So you need a real estate agent, you need a broker, you need a lawyer. If you're selling a house, you need a stager. You need so many things. But we'll connect you to all the professionals you need. Plus, we are giving you guidance along the way, depending on what your goals are. And once you buy the house and you close on the house, we are also taking you to, after settling in, as you have questions. How do I operate a finance? How do I do this? How do I do that? So you become a Deborah owns family. What are the service providers that I need to connect with? What are the things I need to do to take care of a house? One thing about us, we are not Andy. So we don't know how to take care of a house as much. So how do we make sure that we keep our investment so that if I'm selling in 5 years down the line, my house is not the worst one on the block? How do we do that? But now partnering, you are in our family, and in our family we're sharing all this information and nuggets and contact on how to continue to take care of those properties.
Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that. There's another question here. Currently, with the increase in interest rate, is it a buyer market or a seller market? What do you advise?
It's not, well, depending on the area. I listed a house in Milton 2 or 3 days ago. On Thursday, on Friday, we listed this on the market. There was no showing on Friday because I blocked all the showing. But on Saturday, I had 15 plus showings. At the time I reported that I had 15 plus showing, I had 15, but at the end of the day, I had over 20 showings for one day. So people that are saying it's a buyer's market, you need to be talking to agents that actually know, people that are doing this every day. It seems like it's a buyer's market. Somebody still called me before this. That's, oh, I want the house. I'm going to buy it firm. I'm going to sign the contract now. How much do you want me to write on the paper? So it's a buyer's market depending on where you are. But as much as I'm concerned, in the GTA, it's still a seller's market. Sellers are a little bit unrealistic. Some sellers are a little bit unrealistic with the numbers, and they're not getting February numbers. So houses has gone down about 10-20% in some areas. But that's why location is important, right? If you buy a house in London, Ontario, or Brantford that has no employment, it has no amenities, you can't compare it to living at the center of Toronto. You can't compare it to living in Brampton. You can't compare it to living in Milton, Oakville, right? So that's why when you're dealing with a knowledgeable agent as well, and you want to maximize your return on investment, we are suggesting to you, hey, do you want to take the pain and buy in the GTA? Because even in despite if recession happens, God forbid, and I think we're already in recession anyways, but if they further decide to pronounce recession, the houses in GTA will always be in demand because immigrants in there. Immigrants, mind you, we are the ones that are driving the economy, right? Because for me, I have been in my house over 5-10 years now that I've been living in this house. I'm not moving right now because I'm settled right now. Immigrants on the other hand, they would move maybe 3-4 times in 5 years. They're buying, selling, buying, selling. As they're buying, selling, houses are going up, right? The Canadians themselves, they are settled in an area, they stay there. So immigrants are the ones that come in, they bring in their cash from wherever you guys are bringing your money into. You bring it into the Canadian economy and you help them to turn over their money. So again, if you are buying a house and then you go buy in Brantford where there's no employment for them, there's no amenities, there's no public transit, there's no highway, right? If you buy over there in times when things are hard, that's the place it will hit first before it comes here, right? So that's where you need to speak to an agent that is very experienced and knows exactly what they're doing.
Thank you so much. That's what everybody's saying in the comments, that you're very transparent. I told you guys at the beginning of the show that, listen, this is somebody that does not joke with her integrity, and I knew she was going to serve it, the way it is. And believe me, if you want to do business with anybody, it starts from the way they talk about the business, their transparency, meaning what you see is what you get with Deborah. So it's not like, oh, this is for Instagram. No. It's the same way she relates with her clients. And like I said, a lot of people know her here in Canada. She's tested and trusted. Is London, Ontario a good place? Somebody's asking that. Is London, Ontario a good place to buy a home? Yes, I believe. To buy a house.
London, Ontario, but it's not the same market as Brampton, to be honest. So right now, in those kind of markets is when you want to sell your London properties and come to the GTA. Right? London, Ontario has hospitals, he has schools, he has all of those amenities, but it's still a small market when you compare it to the GTA. So this is the time to move your money from the suburbs so that, yes, you started from there, but you don't have to stay there. Again, once you grow your money to some extent, now you want capital preservation. If you are into stocks, you're doing the same thing. You pull your money from, the vulnerable stocks to the stable ones. This is when you pull your money and you bring it to where it's stable, where you can get growth over time. Trust me, the houses in the GTA, in Brampton, for example, I live in Brampton. For some of you that doesn't know, it's not going down. Now there's a lot of things that people say again. Oh, I don't want to live in Brampton. This brown people, this that. Let me tell you, those people, even though I wasn't included in their conversation, I learned a lot, right? Because we are in a multicultural setting where I'm not living in Nigeria anymore. So I can't bring the mindset of a Nigerian and I expect to live in a multicultural society and prosper. I need to broaden myself. I need to add. So one of the things that helped me, that motivated me to go into real estate is, these people will come and they'll come to the market, to the store, and they will buy things on cash. They'll buy so many things, cash. They're fresh. You are struggling as a mother. You're going from one PTA meeting to the other. You can't even meet it. You are late most of the time because you're coming from work and you have to pick up the skill. You have to do that. Those people, they are figuring it out because they have been in the system longer than us. So for some of us that are saying you don't want to live in the GTA, you don't want to live in Brampton, or you don't want to live in some of these places because of the stories that you heard. I am telling you, I'm living from here and I have gained a lot from them. I have gained business sense. I have gained friends among them. I have gained network among them, places that I can enter that some people may not be able to get into. So again, when people are telling you all of those things, you need to be able to confirm it for yourself, right? And understand you are no longer in a one culture society. Now you're in a multicultural society. So you need to learn to work with everybody. They may not accept you, but as you keep showing up and you keep showing up, and they see the Deborah's numbers are just going up. Every time they print the numbers, and who are the 3 top women in the brokerage? Deborah name is up there. The people that doesn't know you. Deborah, I've heard about you. How are you doing? How is it going? Oh, I'm so proud of you, darling. You are representing us. These are the people that you greet and say they won't answer you when you started. When you keep showing up, and then they keep opening up. They keep telling you, oh yeah, by the way, do you know that this brokerage is offering this thing? Do you know that there's this thing that is available for agents? Do you know that this is going on? they're the one that are bringing this information to you. Why? Because you understand yourself, you know yourself. You're not
Yes.
taking a negativity as negative. You're taking it as how can I use this situation to work for myself?
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I mean, and I really want to say, speaking of Brampton, I realized that there are a lot of Indians in Brampton, which is a very beautiful thing to see. The last time that I was there, they were having a festival, and it's the community sense for me, right? And when I also saw your picture on the Real Max, thing with readers, and I saw a lot of Indians, and then there's Deborah there. I said to myself, yes, this is what Hillary Clinton meant when she said, go break the glass ceiling.
That's right.
Don't let them see you. Don't burn bridges. Don't go smoothly. Let your journey be smooth, but make sure that your name become a solution to a problem you solve, which is what you have done for yourself. So thank you so much for sharing that. DBKZ, she seems to have a lot of questions for you today. She says she follows you, and you once spoke about fraud happening in the real estate market. Something about being careful. What did you mean? She asks.
Okay, so again, I realized very early on that people don't like, because before I was a quiet person, I'm still an introvert, by the way, people don't know that. But I realized very quickly when I got into business that people don't like to be said the truth. They want to be sold to, right? I'm a sales agent. I started as a sales agent. I sell things, but I sell you the truth. If I don't believe in something, Deborah Ojo cannot sell it. Because by nature, I just cannot. But people, on the other hand, like to resell the lies. So in most cases, when you are defrauded or something, it's because you yourself, you are greedy and you want to be told a lie. You don't want to buy this. So I come here, I tell you, you need 3 things to buy a house. This is how much you need to buy a house. Somebody else come and tell you, don't worry, you only need $50,000 income and you can buy a $2 million house. And then you come back and you give that person $10,000. They are not picking up your call. And then you are calling Deborah. Deborah, come and help me. I can't help you because I told you the truth. This is why we need to guard ourselves, understand the system, find out the information for yourself, verify the information, and make sure that you're telling yourself the truth. I also say that one of the major challenges with with any business is having clients, right? Just getting the people to buy from you. One of the things from our community is they don't like to buy from people that look like them. They want to buy from other people, which is okay. But then sometimes the problems that I can solve because I understand you better. You wear a black hair, I wear a black eye, so I can treat your hair better than if you both give it to some brown people to treat your hair. They may not understand some of the problems that your hair might have, right? If you come back to me, please don't waste my time. With all due respect, don't waste my time, right? So you can't be defrauded if you yourself have not defrauded yourself. If you are not greedy, nobody can defraud you, right? And that's the truth.
Amazing. Guys, I just posted Deborah's handle again. Follow her. I see a couple of you sent me private questions as well. Please follow her on our page. Also, for those, because this is vital information today, for those who might want to watch this again, it is going to be available on my YouTube channel, Esther Ijewere. Please go there and watch it, right? And if you have families with it, because this is like a master class that Deborah is giving for free. I'm learning a lot as well. So that brings me to the next question. Before we round up, the show for today, what is one thing or what are the things you wish to change in the real estate sector in Canada?
There's a lot of things that we want to change in real estate. One of the major things that is still causing shortage in housing right now is because the government's policies and procedures, and sometimes they're there to protect us, and sometimes they're just a bit excessive. And to be honest, they're just old policies that need to be reviewed, right? I joke about it all the time. I say, hey, If the government would just call me up and say, hey, Deborah, what's going on? I'll tell them exactly what is going on the markets, because I believe they have no clue as to what is going on every day, right? So some of those policies are, if you want to build a house, for example, in the GTA, from you securing the land to actually building it, it could take you from 2 to 3 years to get all the different permits you need to be able to build that house. Right now, if we're talking about shortage and we're talking about 15 million people coming to Canada in the next 5 years, and we, as right as we are, we need to build about 2 million homes to be able to cater to the shortage. Not to talk about the people that are coming in, but yet you have these 2-3 years just lying down period where we can't build, we can't do anything. Then how are we going able to provide those houses? How are we going to be able to bridge the gap? So that's one of the things that I would love the government to sit down and review and change, right? The other thing is in terms of down payments, right? And first-time buyers. Real estate, unfortunately, it's not me, but it's gone up so much that a lot of first-time buyers cannot seem to be able to afford it. I'm going to provide them with more opportunities, more incentive for them to be able to do it. It says TFSA. For some of you that doesn't know, it's called tax-free savings account. If you put your money there, whatever profit you accrue, there's no taxes on this. As you know, governments love their taxes, right? But on this account, whatever money that you put there, including sometimes even real estate portfolio. Some real estate can be tax sheltered. And when they're tax sheltered, it means if you're saving $1, that's $2 in your pockets after taxes, right? So if you have all of this, so if governments can increase the amount of limits of the tax-free savings accounts, that will help a lot of first-time buyers, especially the Canadians, to be able to invest and buy more properties, right? Because everybody at least deserves a home. I mean, some of us, yes, we want hundreds of them, but I believe everybody at least deserves one house.
Amazing. Thank you so much. I see some private questions. Guys, Deborah is not an immigration agent. Let me clarify that live. So if you have plans of Japa, right? Yes, I respect that. But this session is about, giving clarity to those who want to Japa like you, but want to buy homes here and the process. So you're not just coming here thinking, oh, I have $2 million and I can just buy a home immediately. This session is all about clarity. What does it take? What are the processes? So if you need information about immigration to Canada, there's a video on my YouTube channel by Tunde Tash, who is a certified immigration consultant in Canada, right? So go on my YouTube channel to watch that. I make sure I tailor every conversation to what the audience, or what the guest, business is focused on. So please, I would have to pass on those questions about immigration. Thank you so much for your understanding. So Deborah, 2 more questions before we go. There is no way I would have this session with you without talking about family. How are you able to, strike your work-life balance? You are a mother, you are a wife, and of course you have amazing kids. And this job that, of course, is quite demanding. How are you able to strike that work-life balance?
Okay, thank you. So, work-life balance is always a work in progress. It's whatever works for you. So for me personally, I have a very good husband. I cannot talk about my success without talking about my husband. He's my biggest inspiration and cheerleader. He's very understanding. He's also a real estate agent now. So a couple of years down the line, he retired into real estate himself. He has other businesses that he's managing. So we're able to, so real estate has really done a lot for us. But because one of the reasons why, I always go to my reasons why, because for me, I feel not only real estate investment, any business, everybody in Canada should have a side hustle and pray one day that their side hustle leads to full-time business. Because otherwise, how are you going to survive with kids and all of that? So one of the reasons why I went there is also flexibility, right? So most of us cannot be doing a 9-to-5 job. If you have 4 kids, at least one in 1 week, one of them will be sick. One of them, they will call from school. At this point, bomb their head. This one do this one do that. They are always calling you, and I'm like, guys, do you realize I'm also at work? This is not an emergency. You don't really need to call me about this. but they are always calling you. So you need to be able to have a flexible job, a flexible thing. So one of the reasons why I went there was for me to be able to get that. And thank God I have an understanding husband, and I'm able to then, whenever I'm home, I try to spend as much time in the house, right? Spend quality time with my kids, playing with them. I'm not a CEO. We are playing Legos, we are cleaning, we are talking, we are preparing a wedu, we are eating, we are doing all of that. So when I'm a mom, I'm a mother. And when I'm at work, I try to maximize that time. I have employees that are helping me. Without my team, I can't do it. So just leveraging on their time, their expertise. They know, like, technology, they can do it better than me. The kids of nowadays, I'm still young. Kids of nowadays, 25-year-old, they can do it much better than me. So why do I have to spend 2 hours figuring out what the 25-year-old can do within maybe 30 minutes, right? So leveraging on people, leveraging on people's time, their experience, their expertise, building more network. If you have a project, look for the project team that is going to execute. That's all you have to do, is just to give them the vision. So that's kind of how we manage it. And just, when you're home, you make sure you spend the quality time so that the kids doesn't really feel like they don't have a mother, right? Otherwise, me, it will be a failure if my kids don't see me,
That's a very, 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 very important part of the job that you do, and we all do as women. As entrepreneurs, you cannot afford not to be a present parent. Yeah. And a lot of people don't even know that right now in Canada, the kids are home. So when you were talking about that part of the kids calling you, I'm like, folks don't understand.
Yeah.
There are challenges with parenting sometimes, yeah. And you need to adjust.
Yeah. The truth is, they will always call you. There will always be something that comes up. They have PA day or public holiday or something in a month. At least one, not count about kids sick days and all of those things. So they won't go to school regularly, like every day in the month. So you need to have like a week that you can take off for them, and you don't know what those days are gonna be, right? And right now, as you said, they are home, so you don't have a choice. You need to take care of them, right? So, but we just adjust as it is. As the day comes, we adjust, we work it out, and you train them as much as possible. The other thing that's when we're passing legacy is not just passing houses. It's also passing the legacy of you are teaching your kids stuff, right? I talk about identity a lot. I say I'm an African. There's few problems that are particular to me, and I like to use our hair as an example. I have 3 girls. I tell my girls, these are our roots. These are the things that we have done in generations that has worked for us. So if I'm not able to be impart those identities to them in a multicultural environment, in a place where in their classroom, maybe my daughter one day was, when I taught her Yoruba, she knows how to speak Yoruba. She's not fluently, but she understands it very well. I would say underwear is pata. So when she got to school, she was speaking more of Yoruba words, some other things like that I don't want to speak in pata. And they were laughing at her, right? All of those things. But because in that class, she's the only black at the time, right? But all of these identities are important, and they will do all that. They will, you take your child, you take them to school with their cup full. They come back home, maybe sometimes half full. You need to refill it. Every day you have to refill it. So you have to be present at home to be able to refill it with the word of God, with their identity, with all of those things. So those things are also important. So, but we do everything, and it takes a community to raise a child, right? So you make sure that, connects them with other like families, right? Communities not everybody. Like families.
Exactly. And like you said, what is the point of all of the work that we do if we don't raise well-rounded children who can hold their identity from a young age and understand that. And like I was telling somebody, I said the world is going to a stage where we need to build kids that will start grooming like the way Oprah, right? The girls in South Africa look up to Oprah, meaning let your name be a bragging right for your children. And that's one of the things that I tell people, be careful. Don't let the things you do online now to affect your children's future.
True.
Because 10 years from now, we don't even know what the internet is going to look like. You
True.
don't know if somebody's going to check their parents' social media to understand their background. Where are they coming from? What values do they have? Should I employ this person? Does this person have stability?
Yeah.
You know, in the form of a parent. You know, those things does matter. So thank you so much
Let me tell you something
for...
regards to that. There was an agent in Brampton that was beaten in front of his garage because he didn't tell the truth to his clients, and his clients lost a lot of money.
Oh my
Those
God.
people paid him and they beat him up. So that's one of the reasons where people say, "Oh, Deborah Holmes, you know, you're transparent, you're doing this. You do this because your kids are also in the system. And if something happens, we are living in a very, very corrupt, different world, you know, complicated world where a lot of people are dealing with mental issues, and you never know what's going to happen. So the best thing to do is just to treat people right."
Yes. Kindness is very, very important, and it will never go out of style. So for those who are also watching, for parents who are watching, please, while you're doing the work, while you're making the money, teach your children kindness. It is
Yeah.
very important. Don't just teach children who are going to brag about money in the future. Teach children who are going to show empathy. Teach them to show compassion. Because when that comes together, it blends them into the world easily, right?
Yeah.
They become human, not just, you know, an entity that you invested in to go into the world and work and, you know, and also start the cycle. So thank you for that, Deborah. I really appreciate you, you know, bringing that to the fore. Now, to the last question, you know, before we round up, and which is the CSR, the corporate social responsibility from Deborah Holmes. I know we've talked about it, you know, a couple of times, and, you know, your passion for giving back, especially to the community. So a little bit, just shed more light on, you know, your plan for the CSR, your passion, and what the reason why you are actually giving back, you know, at this time as an organization.
Thank you. So as we are, you know, doing well, there's a lot of people that are not doing it well as well. And you know, I came from a very difficult, well, not difficult, but very poor background. So I can understand sometimes why you need to just need a little bit just to survive the day. And you're praying and you're asking and you're looking forward to, you know, just surviving the next day. So that's why Deborah Holmes just want to give the opportunity, especially to women. They say if you give women one sperm, they give you baby. If you give women a little money, 10 naira, they might give you a soup, a pot of soup. Especially to people that are willing, that are able to multiply the little that they have and multiply it into a lot. And families and men that are able to do that, right? Just pass on the baton and just give them a little bit of push, a little bit of hope, you know, to be able to support their family, do whatever it is, especially pay their rent, you know, to be able to help people to stay in a comfortable home. I always say every family deserves a home. Every child deserves a home. And I'm truly, truly passionate about it. So we wanted to be able to extend, you know, thank God, a bit of gratitude, and also to be able to give back to, you know, pass the baton to other families that might still be struggling.
All right. Thank you so much. So you guys, you've heard it from Deborah. Like I said, follow her for more questions. I know a couple of you, you know, have questions for her. Unfortunately, we can't take those questions again today, but watch the video on YouTube. You have questions, you know, on YouTube as well. When you watch the video on YouTube, you can drop it in the comments, right? If you're not able to reach Deborah. But please, I am begging you, do not go into Deborah's inbox or mine for this CSR project. We are making it as transparent as possible. We cannot help everybody. Deborah is just one person, right? With our team and our organization, they are doing this out of their goodwill. This is not some woman trying to throw money around. She's trying to support because she understands what it means not to have. And when you don't have shelter, believe me, a lot of things won't work out for you. If you don't have accommodation, it's a big challenge. So she knows the pain, and she's just trying to fill that vacuum, you know, with God's blessings and all that. So please don't go. I don't want you guys to now start going into our comment section and start saying, you know, go on my Facebook page. You know me, I'm your person. Go, drop it there. Go on my Twitter, right? Go on, drop it on my Instagram. You right? Express yourself. If you need help, don't close your mouth. And like I said, you don't know who is watching. As long as your story is real, right? We are going to look through, we are going to filter and pick 5 families to support them, make somebody smile this Christmas. So pray for Deborah, pray for our family, pray for our business, right? So thank you so much, Deborah. Just before you go, for any young woman who is out there, just watching you right now, being inspired, and she's trying to find clarity, she's trying to understand life or navigate life, just a word of encouragement for them.
Don't give up. And I believe every woman needs to know the rights, the power that God has given to them, right? One of the things that I tell my girls, like I said, I have 3 of them, is a woman is born as a complete package themselves. So don't see yourself as less. A lot of places that you think you can go, rooms that you don't even see people that look like you there, doesn't mean you can't be in that room. But don't see yourself as less. A lot of people see them in my own, because I will ask a woman, what do you want in a house? And they will turn to my husband. So what do we want in a house? You are supposed to be a contributor, not a person that is just taking. You can also be head in different things. You might not be the head of your house, but you can be the head of your business. You can be a boss lady. You can be a boss in your own rights. And God has given everybody that's dominance. You just want to dominate. So don't be afraid. Step out. Reach out to people that can mentor you. Don't come and say, "Oh, Deborah," people just come to you and say, "Deborah, I want you to mentor me," without me knowing you or anything. Things doesn't work like that. But, reach out to people, talk to them, create rapport to them, and, you never know. They might take you under their wings and just mentor you and help you, pray for you, encourage you, all of that, right? But don't see yourself as less of a human.
Amazing. Thank you so much. It takes a village. That's what you just said. It takes a village, and please don't give up. It's very important. I do this at the end of every show to ask for a word of encouragement. So, Deborah, thank you so much for your time today. God bless you. I can see all the beautiful comments. And this is amazing because, it takes one thing to have a guest. It's another thing for people to just keep commenting and saying very nice words to my guests. So, yes, you've left an imprint.
Thank you so much.
So, guys, let me know. I am going to ask you guys on Facebook what you learned from this session. And there's a giveaway from me, for that. So please, you let me know. I'm going to post it on my Facebook. Head on to my Facebook page, Esther Ijewere. Subscribe to my channel. I want to know what you learned from this session from Deborah and how you're going to use that lesson as a person. Even if you're not in the real estate sector, you've learned something today about business, about integrity, about empowerment, about confidence, because this is a woman who is confident about herself, her passion, and she knows her onion. So, Deborah, I wish you and your family an amazing day and week ahead. God bless you. God bless your family. Thank you for everything and have a beautiful day.
Thank you so
everyone.
Much.
Thank you for joining, guys. God bless you. Head on to my YouTube channel to watch the full video. And of course, I'll be back on the 13th with Kemi Ogunkoya to talk about leadership. Bye, Deborah. Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.